I think most of us have dreams that does not look like our own reality at all. How crazy, how crazy life is. You need to be able to recognize it and appreciate it and live in that moment. Because you also never know how long it's gonna stay. Hi, my name is Marilag and I work in tech. I'm just sitting here in my garden, which I have been trying to fix for the last 4 years without any luck. This is the second time I'm doing a vlog, and I don't really know how this works. Pretty much like I don't know how a garden works, but I love my garden, especially on a day like this. It's a beautiful summer day in Denmark. We were just out in the city, my daughter and my husband. We were just walking around and we sat in one of the bars there and ordered sangria, and it was just fabulous. And now we're home, and now I'm sitting here and ready to talk about my life in tech. The birds also want to be part of the video, and I guess that's okay. I think most people who work in tech have one way or another thought about what it would be like to work for big tech companies. And it's just natural because most of the things you work with has something to do with these companies. And it always inspires you. You see the people who build solutions that have big impact, huge impact to the whole world. And it's very natural, I would say, to dream about working for these companies. I think there's some sort of glamour attached to it when you work for big tech. I, for one, of course, thought about how it would be so cool if I could work for a big tech company like Microsoft or Google back in the early 2000s when I just graduated from computer science. But I was young, so I was so preoccupied with life itself. I was just distracted. I wasn't one of those young people who have a clear goal and who can plan out their career paths. I was never like that. I was a bit more spontaneous, like my mother said. And I guess at that time, after graduating, I fell in love with tech. But that's where it ended. I just really didn't do anything about it. At that time, whenever I tell myself, oh, maybe you could work for companies like Microsoft, I would just laugh it out. It's something that's so far flung. It's something that at least at least for me back then, didn't think was ever possible. So it's more just like this fleeting dream that, as a young person, you will never be able to achieve. So I didn't pursue it. And so my first job was a software engineer at a university, and I really liked it and I enjoyed it a lot and I learned a lot from that first job, but I wasn't really keen on thinking bigger than that. For me, that was big. Working as a software engineer for that university was big. But every now and then, especially when we attend the big tech events, for example, when Microsoft have had one of those events in Makati, I get very inspired, with the grandeur of it. And I would see there as an audience this young software engineer thinking, oh, it would be really cool. So what I wanted to say is that, yes, I did dream about working for big techs, but maybe I wasn't burning for it. I wasn't really passionate. And that's probably why I didn't really do enough to chase that dream. After several years of working in tech, and it would cross my mind again, wow, I think it would be nice to at least experience working in big tech. But then by that time, it felt like that dream has really passed me by. And then I started getting even more maybe scared and intimidated that that opportunity is something that I would never be able to to have. And somehow deep down inside, I think I felt intimidated. So I stayed in my comfort zone. It's understandable if you are at the point of your life right now when you are dreaming something big and you feel like you're never going to get there. I hope you know that you're not the only one who feels this way. I think it's something that all of us share. And there's really no way out of it. As they say, if it doesn't scare you, it's not really worth it. I think at this point, if you are young and dreaming and scared, all you have to do is to get good at something. Start getting good at something. It doesn't matter what it is, and doesn't matter for which company you're working for, to be honest. It doesn't matter if it's a startup or you got the opportunity to work for a big tech company, or you're working for a small company, or you're working for yourself. I really think it doesn't matter. I think what matters most is that you start now getting good at something. I picked up on programming. On the nights when I felt like I just want to stay at home and sit in front of my computer and code, I did it, and I did it nonstop. And I didn't even overthink. Just if you pick up on something that you really enjoy, and I know this has been said many, many times, you just have to sit and spend that time, that kind of beautiful time that you have doing something that you like, and then get good at it. You are gonna be really bad at it in the beginning, and you're gonna make a lot of mistakes, but don't stop. That's all you have to do. What was that? It's a bird. It's getting so dark. I'm so sorry. I think most of us have dreams that does not look like our own reality at all. But sometimes dreams have a funny way of putting on a disguise. Like I really wanted to be a journalist, and my dad particularly wanted me to be an accountant. And I said no to that. And I tried applying for journalism in one of the universities in the Philippines, and I didn't get in. I actually flunked 5 different university applications until I ended up in my last choice, which is computer science in an all-girls school, and I did not expect that at all. When I didn't get into journalism, I remember that I was on a wait list, and then I can write them again after a semester, but I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I was so spontaneous. That's probably not for you, but that's who I am. That's who I was, and that's still who I am. I don't know if that's necessarily good, to be honest, but I take pride in saying that it wasn't so bad at all. My life didn't turn out so bad. It could have because of my spontaneity, but dreams have a way of appearing like something totally different from what you expected. But for all you know, you're actually living the dream. You just didn't know it. So when I didn't get to journalism and I studied computer science and then I started working as a software engineer, lo and behold, my first project, guess what, was actually to build an accounting system. So I ended up having to learn accounting just so I can build an accounting system. And I remember laughing at myself at that time. It's like, okay, you did not really escape your parents' dream for you. So I still get to, at least in a sense, live my parents' dream for me. And then fast forward in 2010, I moved to Denmark to work as a software engineer. And my first, guess what? My first big, big tech project when I moved here was to build a web application for journalists. How crazy, how crazy life is. So, in a sense, I have on the sidelines lived the dream. And I'm still holding on to that, by the way. I still want to be a journalist someday or a writer. When I become a writer, I would write about a software engineer, or I would write about a character who's an accountant. Life has a way of making fun with you. So don't take it too seriously. Don't take it too seriously. As long as you keep that childish dream inside of you, and even though you start working on something else, doing something else, being a different person that you originally wanted to be, keep that person that you would have wanted to be inside you. Don't let go. Enjoy the twists and turns in life. It's easier said than done, especially when you wanted something so bad and you feel like you're not getting any closer, or that you failed, or you're not reaching it, or whatever you're doing right now is nowhere near the person that you have dreamt of. But look around you. What you need to learn is to read the signs around you. It might feel like you're on a completely different road, but then look in front of you, behind you, around you, look at the signs, look at the view, and for all you know, you might be in the wrong path, but your destination is still the same as what you've always wanted. The time that your dream shows up in a different form, you need to be able to recognize it and appreciate it and live in that moment. Because you also never know how long it's going to stay. So in 2010, I moved to Denmark to work as a consultant in a tech company. In around 2015, I've had the opportunity to join tech communities, sharing my knowledge by speaking at meetups and speaking at conferences, and that opened up my world. I remember attending one of the Microsoft events where I met a really good friend after having talked about technology and the industry several times. And then one morning, I opened my Twitter account and then I got a message from him asking me if I was interested to apply as an engineer for his team. And it's one of the biggest products at Microsoft, the product team at Microsoft. And I was just like, I was looking at him, it's like, oh my God, really? The catch is, at that exact same period, I decided to start my own company. So all your life, you've been at the back of your mind thinking it would be really cool to experience working in Big Ten, and finally you got maybe something closest to an opportunity to finally work there, and then it was just this crazy twisted timing again. I couldn't sleep that night. It's just so difficult to make a choice. So after thinking about it really hard, all my career decisions are very much driven by my emotions. So in the end, I decided to turn down that dream and pursued another dream, which is to start my own tech company. After several years of having and running my own business, I also get to, in one way or another, be part of Microsoft as an MVP and also speaking at some of their events. And even though I don't work for a big tech company, even though I turned down one opportunity, another one came up. And in the end, I still get to, in one way or another, do something that's related to that dream. And that's just how it is. Thank you so much for listening. If you have any thoughts or advices or stories that you want to share, I really appreciate your comments. Thank you and see you in the next video.